And namaste, everybody. Bruce here from RootsofLife.org. In my Reiki practice, I'm quite often asked a very, very simple but very fundamental question, which is, what is Reiki, right? So you may be new to the practice of Reiki, or, perhaps you've already gone to the master level and you're a teacher yourself. Wherever you are in your journey, perhaps this will give some insight as to my interpretation of what Reiki is, okay? Now, the word Reiki simply is divided into two different words, which is Rei and then Ki. So Rei means universal and Ki means energy or life, as a very, very rough definition of it. So if we put those two together, then Reiki is meaning the universality of life, or the life that flows through the entire universe. Okay? So what does that mean with Reiki, and how is that then applied to healing? Well, if we think about the universal nature of energy, then energy can't be sick because it simply is everything. If Reiki is universal energy, then that means the energy that is in you is the same that's the energy that's in me, is the same of the energy of the entire universe. So how is it that that energy could possibly be sick? How is it that that energy could possibly be angry or upset or dark or violent, right? Indeed, the world can seem dark, and indeed there is violence, and there is misery and suffering and all these types of things. But that's a human construct. That's not energy, okay? Energy is neutral. And in all systems, every system in the universe, you can think about the planet Earth, maybe just your family, maybe the microcosm in your backyard, whatever it might be. All of those systems, if left to their own devices, will become neutral and become balanced and still, right? So if the energy of the universe is neutral, then why is it that we suffer? And how can Reiki be used to heal? Well, healing is simply getting out of the way of that energy. We suffer because we hold on to stories. We hold on to beliefs. We hold on to wants and needs, right? If we can just surrender into the energy and let go, well then how can we be sick? How can we suffer? Now that might sound pretty far-fetched and pretty difficult to obtain, and indeed sometimes it is, right? But that still doesn't make or necessitate another path into healing, right? If Reiki is difficult to practice on yourself right now, then perhaps it'll be easier tomorrow. Just recognize where you are right now. See, that's a practice of surrendering, indeed. Okay? Now, with Reiki, what we do is we utilize our understanding of Reiki. And notice what I'm saying here is our understanding of Reiki, because you could be anywhere on that path. If you're brand new to Reiki, then just understanding that we're working with the energy of the universe as it flows through the nervous system and flows through the body. Okay? If we allow that energy to flow, then we get out of the way. And if we get out of the way, then also the illness gets out of the way. The body can heal that much quicker because we've controlled or quieted down the story. So if you're brand new to Reiki and you've never practiced it before, it's simply a practice of turning inward, connecting to the body, and just becoming quiet, becoming still and relaxed. Now, if Reiki is something that you've been working with, maybe you're a level 2 student and you've learned the symbols, then we start to dive into the symbols and the meaning of the symbols. And we start to work on utilizing those symbols for our own inner environment. But we still need to make sure that the inner environment is calm. One thing that a lot of students and practitioners at level 2, I think, can become attached to, and it's totally normal and it's perfect, it's not a criticism, but we can become attached to the meaning of the symbols in Reiki, okay? Always ask yourself the question, who is doing the healing? If it's I, if it's me that's doing it, or who is invoking the symbols, right? If it's I or me that's invoking the symbols, that's our ego, okay? Now that's not a criticism. We can utilize the symbols to recognize a deeper path on our own healing, perhaps. That's fantastic. We can recognize that as we use any one of the 3 symbols that you learn at the 2nd level of Reiki, that they have different meanings. And from those different meanings, we have different experiences coming forward. That's fantastic. That's perfect, right? But always ask yourself the question, who is interpreting the symbols? Who is applying the symbol? It's me. It's my ego. My ego is applying something so I get a result, right? As we learn and we grow with our understanding of Reiki, these are necessary steps along the path. But at some point, we can even let go of that. We can let go of the symbols. And so perhaps if you're a master student or a practitioner who's been at this a long time, this might resonate with you at this stage in your development and your evolution with Reiki. We simply let go. We place the hands on the body. We surrender, which means we quiet the mind and we quiet the body. And then we just allow the experience to happen. We just allow Reiki to flow. We allow the energy to flow through the body. We don't need to attach a story to it. We don't need to attach meaning. If we feel a pain in the body arising, then we can simply let it go. Now, if this is difficult, when big traumas come up and difficulties come up or pains or whatever it might be, our ego might come back into play here. The ego is just trying to keep you safe, and this is totally normal and totally fine. And so we might want to utilize, again, the symbols of Reiki for us to be able to dive a little bit further on that path, right? Surrender a little bit deeper with a tool, that be the symbols or our understanding of Reiki, that we can utilize, and we can utilize it from a space of comfort. So if we can meet Reiki with a constant practice of surrendering, okay, and turning inward, then we can start to notice how we can heal. So if you're brand new to energy healing, or if you are walking on your path of Reiki and you have been so for a long time, perhaps you're even a master student, it's still the same point on the journey. That point is surrender and let go. We feel the tense pulsation of energy, perhaps coming out of the hands. We feel the heat. We feel the tingling as it moves through the body. We feel the tension in the body start to release as we surrender deeper and deeper into the body. That process of surrendering is our process of healing, right? And so this speaks as to why Reiki is so effective. If you're able to further turn inward and let go and quiet the mind and quiet the body, at some point you reach a marker on your journey, as it were, that you recognize that there's nothing left to heal. Even if it's just for that one very minute minute, or perhaps even moment in your practice, you still recognize that right there, right then, there's nothing to heal, because there's silence and there's stillness and there's peace. And with the story of these things removed, well then that's how we heal. We turn inward and we let go. So looking at the question, what is Reiki? Well, Reiki is simply sitting with the pulsation of the energy of the universe and being neutral in that pulsation. And by surrendering into that pulsation, then we can recognize that perhaps for once and finally, or perhaps you've been here many, many times, but we can finally surrender and let go into that stillness. We can finally arrive into that flow of beautiful energy through the body. No muscular tension, no skeletal tension, no illness, no frustration, no stress, no anxiety, no clinging to any story. We simply exist. Some days this is easier said than others. Some days this is easier to practice than in others, but we still return to the practice and we still surrender into the practice and we let go. So if you're brand new to Reiki, that simply means sitting with the hand placements and feeling into the body. Feeling how the hands connect to the body and perhaps how your organs respond or the systems of the body respond. Now, if you're newer to Reiki, or if this is a first step for you, then you stay here. You stay working with the hand placements. You stay in that space. At level 2, you incorporate the symbols and you incorporate the meaning of the symbols into the body. But again, you try to let go and you try to arrive at that meaning that's a little bit deeper still into the internal environment of the body. And then hopefully at the master level, you can let go entirely. We surrender, 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 and fall into the flow of the energy of the universe. That to me is what Reiki is. And that's why it's so beautifully healing. Because when we let go and we can finally feel that energy flowing, then we're free, right? We're free to float with the universe through the current of energy that is the universe without resistance. Or hopefully maybe with less resistance is a better way to put it. Because we all have resistance, right? Surrender, let go, float, smile, and you'll heal. Just enjoy the ride. That's what Reiki is. Okay, everybody. Namaste. In Gasha to all, and be well.